So perhaps if we can start with what we know of the children to begin
Yeah,
with.
that would be great. That would help me.
So we've got our 6 children, and as the class teacher, I would say that they're able and more able children working at 1B to 1A.
Right.
And the issues that we came out with for next steps for teaching and learning with the children on 2 and 3D shapes, which is what we're going to be looking at through these 3 lessons, are visualisation and describing shapes. So the children reasoning and explaining about shapes and being able to visualise shapes when they're in a feelie bag or something like that.
Right, okay.
Okay. There was confusion with quite a lot of the children with cube and cuboid for 3D solid shape, and they were also unsure about pentagons and hexagons, and particularly being able to describe them, and there was quite a lot of confusion between both.
Right.
So as starting points, very general starting points, that's kind of what I would kind of give you for a way in with the children.
Right, okay. Okay, what kind of shapes can you see?
Triangle.
Triangles. Lewis.
Hexagon.
Hexagon, because that has how many sides?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Let's count them.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So is that a hexagon?
No,
What's that?
not octagon.
An octagon, because that has 8 sides. How many sides does that one have, Lewis?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 sides. So what shape's that?
Hexagon.
That's a hexagon, isn't it? And I should have... What's that, Ryan? Count the sides with me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5. What's a 5-sided shape called again?
Hexagon.
Oh, get that X out of there and it's pentagon. Pentagon. Well done. Fab. Give me something to add to this list, because I think we've learnt more than this. Let's just check what we've got already. We've got square, cone, cube, pattern, circle, triangle, cylinder, cuboid, pyramid, octagon, oblong or rectangle, and sphere. What can we add to this, Lewis?
Triangular prism.
A triangular prism. Fantastic. What did you say then, Freya?
Pentagon.
Pentagon. We haven't got pentagon. And how many sides does a pentagon have? Ryan.
5.
5. Good boy. So how many corners will that have, Holly?
6.
6 corners. If it's got 5 sides, it should have 6 corners. How could we check? We could check by using a pen. Will this write on here? Thank you.
Maybe.
So it's got how many sides? 6 sides, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, 5 sides. What am I talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll count the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. So it's got 5 sides and 5 corners. Fantastic.
Erika, what do you think you've learned now yourself about progression?
Well, I've learnt a lot more than perhaps I actually thought I would, because I thought that I had the understanding of progression of lessons, particularly for, you know, whole class and being able to differentiate amongst children. But it just highlighted the importance of personalised learning for me, for the children, that every individual children, you know, has different learning, but that's also helped myself in my learning about how to teach and support those, but to pick up on it as it goes on, you know, to assess and monitor at the time, just like when Ryan was unsure of a pentagon. Right then, Ryan, we'll focus in on that straight away, whilst still involving the other children as well, you know, because that's the whole point of differentiation, so that you can do for all levels. But also the assessment as you go on really does inform your planning for the next lesson, you think, right, I can put that in for the next lesson, and I need to just touch upon that. And it was great about the, you know, the knowledge of 2D and 3D shapes. I was so, you know, concerned with whether the children would understand that even though we can use 2D language to describe a 3D environment, everything in the environment is 3D, you know, because you can pick it up type of thing. So informing my planning as well as you assess is what I've learnt through the progression. The importance of key questions as well. But not just to have them in your head, but actually I've started to write them down on my plan, because, you know, when you get going and everything, you might just miss off a question that you'd have thought, oh, if I'd have just asked that, because I would have wanted to know where that would have gone.
And then you start to naturally ask open questions much more, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about them much more.
And you're thinking about how you're verbalising your question so that it is completely open, and it's not, oh, tell me about this shape, this one, or is this four-sided? Has this got four sides? Because that's just yes and no, you know.
And so that your questions offer challenge to move them from that level 2 onto level 3 as well. And
that's it. With this group, I was quite not hugely surprised, because we already spoke about it was a high ability group, but the expectations actually went above what I had already perceived. So I was constantly having to think about different ways to challenge the children, coming up with new, you know, terminology, or like you said before, bringing in counting as well, so that you could have more than one concept on the go, using 3 shapes instead of 2. You know,
and not being afraid of introducing vocabulary that perhaps some people might think of as hierarchical. It's not with shape. They know the names of all of the dinosaurs. They can pick up vocabulary very well. And Lewis showed us beautifully how well he sort of grasped that concept of the prism, didn't he? And he was really confident, and he could apply it to a hexagonal prism and things like that.
Definitely. Whereas before, I used to, you know, when we had the 12-sided shape, I thought, should I go that far? But like you say, they get excited about learning new words and things like that. So
it's been really, really enjoyable.
It's been a learning curve as well. It's been great.